Good morning. My name is Barb Melera. I'm a member of the team at Harvesting History. Harvesting History is an heirloom horticultural company that specializes in heirloom non-GMO flower, vegetable, and herb seeds, as well as sets like onion sets, roots like asparagus and rhubarb roots, and heirloom flower bulbs, as well as some heirloom variety seed potatoes, and a large collection of heirloom garlic, which we offer in the fall. Today we're going to give you a short history and background of one of my favorite plant groups, and that is the citrus group, the group of citrus trees that can be grown in containers throughout most of the United States. Citrus trees, believe it or not, were a part of American culture back through the late 1600s. George Washington himself at Mount Vernon had an orangerie. This was a very important part of the gardening that was done in most plantations and most estates. Citrus has vitamin C, which, as we all know, is a great deterrent to colds and other respiratory infections. So early on, Americans started growing their own citrus trees, and they would do it in a sort of greenhouse, which they called an orangerie. Most of the citrus that we have today came out of China during the late 1800s. For example, we have, the Meyer lemon, which was found in China in the late 1800s and brought to the United States in 1908. We also have the kaffir lime, which is an Asian lime, again out of more the Indian subcontinent. And again, this was brought to the United States in the 1900s. These plants have become as much a part of our American horticultural heritage as just about anything that we grow. Now, the thing to remember about citrus trees is that they do need to be grown in containers. They do need to be fed on a routine basis. They will produce fruit. They will bloom. The blooms will be pollinated. They will produce fruit, and the fruit will mature as they grow throughout the winter in your home. You put them out in the summertime in full sun, or as nearly full sun as you possibly can find on your property. And then when the nighttime temperatures start routinely dipping into the 40s, you bring the plants in. I always suggest to people that I am selling a citrus tree to that they bring their citrus in at least a month before they turn on the heat, because heat dries the house out, and these plants are very sensitive to changes in humidity. And the way that they evidence their sensitivity is they drop their leaves. Now, some of them can drop every leaf they have, and the plant is still alive. It will then adjust to the change in humidity, and then it will start to produce new leaves. But remember, when you bring it in, if you can bring it in about a month before you turn on the heat, that will minimize the chance that the plant will drop its leaves. You always have a fussy one, like you, and the fussy ones will drop their leaves anyhow, just to say, I don't like this moving around. But anyhow, remember that. The other thing to remember is if you purchase your plants from us at Harvesting History, we have spent years, when we first got involved with this over 10 years ago, we were purchasing plants out of Florida that had been grown in the ground. and we always had bug problems. They were very reputable nurseries, but citrus are bug magnets. So it took us 5 years, but we finally found a wonderful grower in Florida that grows all of her plants from rooted cuttings in greenhouses. And this, we have never had a plant come from her that had bugs. I'm not telling you that your plants won't get bugs, because as I said, citrus are bug magnets. But this is the least chance you will ever have to buy a citrus tree and not have bugs on it. So, I think that's about all you need to have to know in terms of background. When you get a plant from us, you need to transplant it into a 10 to 12 inch container right away. The day that you get the plant, the day that the plant arrives, you need to make sure you get it out of the container right away and just leave it to rest from its horrible journey to you. When you purchase one of these plants from us, what we do is we take the plastic bag that is protecting the pot and the soil, and we secure it with a twist tie. That way you're not going to lose any soil and the roots are not going to be exposed. So it's nice and firmly secured. Then we pack it in boxes like this with the pot at the bottom and then the plant secured. We wrap them in plastic and the plant secured so that there's minimal damage, we hope, to the plant as it travels to reach you. That's why I said it is very important that you unpack this tree as soon as you get it and take off all of the plastic. You can leave this plastic on. We water the plants right before we package this, so please do not water your plant when you get it. The most important thing is to get it out in the fresh air. The other thing is, depending on how much it gets knocked around in transit, it may lose leaves. Don't be alarmed. That happens and it will grow those leaves back. But this is how plants that you purchase from us will arrive. Now, I hope that each of you decides that you want to try a citrus tree. They've been a part of our culture since the late 1600s, since at least 100 years before we were a country. And they are such fascinating plants. They are such healthy plants. And they are the kind of thing that will keep you mesmerized for years. I love it when our customers come back with these huge ear-to-ear smiles and tell me the stories of their citrus trees. I hope each one of you will get the chance to tell me some of those stories someday yourselves. So, enjoy your citrus trees.